guys, this is Kelly. I am back with the process video for Stuck Sketches. Here is the July 15th sketch. For this layout, I am using this photo of my mother. She was stung by a bumblebee on the tip of her nose, and I wanted to get this story documented. I did make a copy of this, of the original photo, and printed out the copy, so I am not trimming the original. And I just thought that this, because she was square on in the middle of this, it was I think a 3.5 by 5 maybe, I just decided that a 4 by 4 photo would be better and just have her in the middle of it. So I wanted to use my Felicity Jane kits for this layout. I have several that I haven't even really scratched the surface on, and I love these colors, and this pattern paper in particular is one of my favorites, and I just knew that it would go well with this photo because the dress that my mom has on has butterflies on it, and butterflies and flowers tend to go well together. And since it's black and white, it gives me leeway to use any color that I want. So because I have not used this kit, I don't quite know what kind of embellishments I have. I have pre-cut some of the die cuts that were included with the kit. They have now switched, and I think that the die cuts come to you already cut, but this was at the time where you, when you purchased the kit, you had a sheet of die cuts that you could cut. So the sketch calls for several different borders on the right hand side of the layout, and I'm only going to do a couple, and I decided that I really like that white ribbon that gives it just a touch of whimsy and that handmade look, and I feel like it really fits the theme of this page and just the look that I'm going for. These type pages are definitely some of my favorite to make. If I could have everything decorated like this, I would, but my husband would just not like it, and so I have to do it on my scrapbook pages when I can get away with it. So the sketch also calls for a fishtail banner and a really large tag, and since I have the pink half tag that goes with the kit, I decided that I'm going to switch that and make the fishtail banner the large part and the tag the smaller part. And I tried to make my fishtail using my trimmer, but I find that I just do a better job of it with just using my scissors. So I'm going through some of the things and trying to figure out what I want where. I know that this flower cluster I'm definitely going to use in that bottom left-hand corner of the photo. I like the flowers. It repeats, what's in the pattern paper, plus it also brings an additional color of yellow. And I want to pull that in a couple of other places so that the main colors of the kit are, well, the main color is the aqua, and then the pink is like a secondary color that has quite a bit of it, and then the yellow just has little pops. So I am trimming out this tab, but I don't end up using the tab on the page. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm going to like something on the page until I actually put it in a place where I would actually use it, and I'm a very visual person. I have to see. Just like I'm moving this trim, I wanted to see what the balls would look like if they faced in, and I didn't like it. I can't visualize it without actually doing it. I wasn't sure that I would like it, and as soon as I did it, I realized, no, I'd like it facing away from the photo. Now, if that's a design principle, I couldn't tell you. This is just my personal preference. So I'm trying to stick pretty close to the sketch. Laura has several different pattern paper strips down the side, and I thought that this pink pattern paper that I just used my scallop punch with might work, but I just thought it was too much. So I decided that I want to use the scallop border, but I'm going to use it as a border underneath the photo and the banner that I've made. So I just trimmed off a little bit to cut it down to size, and I'm just pretty happy with the way that that is looking. So I am going to, off camera, sew the white ribbon border, the white pom-pom border down what I do is I struggled with it a little bit just because I don't really sew fabric or ribbon trims, but I did pull it a little taut so that I could save maybe a 4-inch piece of the trim, just because I can definitely use that on another layout. And it just, I felt like that the tighter ribbon looked better, it looked cleaner. So I know that I want to mount my photo with some pattern papers, and I want to use that white and black. It's like a starburst pattern, and I wasn't sure if I wanted the white and black starburst to be directly underneath the photo, or if I wanted the pink pattern paper to separate it. So I just went about, changing them up a couple of different ways and seeing the different colors until I decided what I thought looked best for me. And I am going to trim this down a little bit, and I was able to trim the paper in such a way that I'm now going to be able to trim it evenly around the photo. So that is what I'm doing now, is just lining up the photo and making sure that what I've trimmed off the top, the starbursts look the same from the top and the bottom and from the right to the left. They don't look the same all the way around, but for me, I think it's pretty good when you have a repetitive pattern like that. If you can just have the top and bottom and the side to side tip be even, then that takes care of it for me. It doesn't have to be even on all 4 sides. So I am going to start sticking down these layers. It drives me crazy when I have things that I know I definitely want to put on that spot move. So I'm going to go ahead and stick them down, and I'm using the lines of the pattern paper to help be my guide. If I can use my T-square ruler, but when you have the lines, it makes it so easy. So when I do pull my T-square ruler to make sure that I have it straight, it was just a slight adjustment. And even if I hadn't have done it, I don't think that you would have been able to tell. So I did play around with the tag to see if I liked it better underneath the doily or over top, and because the pattern is so sweet, I really wanted to make sure that you could see it all. So I chose to put it on top of the doily, and I'm just going to use my favorite tweezers to help put that border underneath the photo. So off camera, I went ahead and went through my stash and pulled things that had little bits of yellow in them so that I could pull the yellow through the layout. And I found the Maggie Holmes, I think this is the Bloom collection, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But she had a pattern piece of paper that was full of butterflies, and I had already fussy cut these butterflies out, and I just left them in with that collection. And so I pulled those out just to see if they would work on the page. And I have this stitching template. It is from an older Felicity Jane kit, and I wanted to add a little bit of hand stitching onto the page, and I thought the heart would be sweet. So I just put my pen through the heart and cut it out so I could place it around the page to see if I could get it to work. And I didn't really find a place that I liked, but I'm keeping it there because I really think that this page would benefit from some hand stitching. It's an older photo. Her dress was handmade. It seems like there's certain layouts that lend itself to little bits, little details like that. And this is definitely one of those layouts for me. So when I pulled out the butterflies, I did pull out the stickers that went with this collection. And this sticker says, "Every day brings a new story." And I thought that that would be a good sticker to put in that cluster. And I'm pulling out some of these gold stickers. One says #true story, another says things to remember, and the third sticker just has little hearts underneath it. So the sketch calls for a title in that top cluster that I'm working with right now. I did not have a border label or anything that I felt like my title would really look good on, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to title the page. Something about, here's the story, something along those lines would have worked, but I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. So I just kept decorating the page and embellishing. And I thought that I would figure out, once it came time for the journaling, what I decided or what I would decide to do. So these gold hearts, again, were in my stash. They had already been trimmed from some paper, and I thought that the gold would bring in a nice little hint as well for those, to match those gold word stickers. And I am going to just use my tacky adhesive by Scotch to glue down the butterflies, and I put pop dots under the large butterfly, and I just left the small butterflies. I left that detail alone because if I put the pop dots underneath them, I felt like it would just be a little too much. So I don't journal on screen, and off screen as I'm looking at this, I decided to go back and add some hand stitching that you will be able to see in the close-up photos. I stitched little butterfly trails on the small butterflies and a couple of of X's that are like cross-stitch X's in that upper cluster. So if you haven't checked out the the Stuck Sketches blog, go ahead and check them out, and you can see what other design team members have made, and we would love for you to play along. There's a chance to win some prizes. So thanks so much. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.